Hi folks. Today I'm going to talk to you about something a little bit different. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about the Leatherman Military Utility Tool, also known as the Leatherman MUT. There are a lot of YouTube videos right now that you can look at and find information about the Leatherman MUT. Most of them are people with a brand new tool who will tell you about all the features and all the things that you can do with it. Those are great informational videos. I encourage you, if you're interested in this tool, to go and look for them. What I'm going to be talking about is my experience with actually using the Leatherman MUT. I've been using this tool for about a year and a half now. As a police officer, as a firearms instructor, and most specifically as a police armorer, I have been using this quite a bit, and I want to tell you about some of the things that I've learned about it. Obviously, when we talk about the MUT, we are talking about a multi-tool. I'm a fan of multi-tools. As a police officer, I have to carry a lot of equipment with me that I'm going to be using, and I can't necessarily always run back to the police department to pick it up. This is especially true when I'm working the range, and I have all of my tools back there, and I have to rely on what I have in order to keep firearms running at the range. Looking at the basic tools of the MUT, I will tell you before I get into this, this is not a replacement for a fully equipped shop. You can do a lot with this when you need to handle things in the field, but you're not going to rebarrel a rifle with this. You're not going to do some of the more intricate operations, but you can do a lot with it. Looking at what we have exposed here, we have a knife blade, which comes with any Leatherman tool. It is a very sharp knife blade. I've used this for everything: opening boxes, cutting cords, slicing apples, you name it. I have used that knife for. Very sharp. It is a semi-serrated blade, which helps out if you're cutting some things that are a little more tough. It works very, very well. Also included in the MUT is a saw blade. This saw is pretty impressive. I used it recently when I was clearing some brush from around my home, and I was cutting fairly thick branches with this thing, and it made short work of them. Very, very good saw, very handy. Next thing we have is a punch, and this punch is removable. You can unscrew it and take it off. In fact, I'll do that quick. One thing about the punch, if you are removing the pins from a AR style rifle, and by the way, the MUT is really optimized for use with an AR style firearm. It'll help, or it's useful with some other types of firearms, but mainly it's for an AR. As you can see, I have removed the punch, and you can use it in combination with the hammer end of the MUT if you're going to drive out those pins. Now, this is not a really strong tool. You can't really blast on this thing if you have pins that are hard to get out, because you can damage this threaded portion. I discovered that while trying to drive some pins out of our pistols. I can still screw it on and off, as you've seen, but it is a little harder, and I would not want to pound on that any more than I have already, for fear of damaging those threads. So that is one thing about the MUT you have to be a little bit careful with. The last thing on the outside of the tool is the carbon scraper for the bolt and bolt carrier of your AR style firearms. This works very well. Whether you're scraping carbon off the bolt tail or reaching down inside the carrier to scrape the carbon out of there, that works very, very well. It's made out of bronze, so it's not going to damage the bolt carrier. It is softer than the steel that the bolt and the bolt carrier are made out of, so you're not going to damage it with that. The Leatherman MUT gives you multiple ways to carry it. There is a belt clip right there. You can clip it inside, or I said a belt clip, it's actually a pocket clip. You can clip it inside your pocket. You also have a clip right here, so you can clip it onto a belt loop rather, or if you have the little D-rings like on 511 style pants, you can clip it onto there. This also functions as a bottle opener, so it gives you a handy thing if you're out in the field, you have to open a bottle, you have that as well. Before we open the MUT and take a look at it with it opened up, I want to talk a little bit about the screwdrivers you have available. If you push this to either side, this little lock here, this actually locks in two different screwdriver bits which fit down inside the handle. And I will take those out. There is one. This one has a hex head bit, which is supposed to work with rings or with optics if you need to adjust them. I have yet to find anything that actually takes this bit, but that's what it's supposed to be made for. Other side has a star bit, similarly supposed to work with optics or other things that might have a star bit that size. Haven't yet found one of those that is going to fit right either. The other side, if you push the lock back through, has a longer screwdriver, both a standard screwdriver and a Phillips bit. These I have used quite a bit. These are quite handy, and they fit. I'll go ahead and open it up now. There is a lock on the MUT right here that keeps it closed. If you flip that up, it allows you to open it. And this is where your screwdriver bits go. The standard bit is the one that's already in there. This one I also use if I don't have to reach very far. It has a lock right here that you have to push down on to remove it. And I'll see if I can get it out of there. There's a shorter one. It also has a place where it can rest. You can store it in the handle right there. The nice thing about leaving it installed, and I'll be able to show you with even the longer one in here, is that functions as a guard when this is closed for the cutter. It keeps anything from getting in there, keeps from getting your thumb in there or something, and having a problem when you leave that bit installed. However, with the screwdriver, and you can see I have the longer one here, you have a little bit more reach to go down inside if you have to work with screws. I use the screwdrivers a lot. It seems like not only working on firearms, but removing license plates from vehicles, prying things open. Seems like I'm constantly using this screwdriver, or one or the other screwdrivers, either the long one or the short one. They both work very well. This is also where the star bit and the hex head bit fit in the same place. And you could use those as well, as long as you find something that will fit them, or they will fit rather. Once the tool is open, you have the needle nose pliers. These I also use quite a bit. It seems like whenever I need needle nose pliers for something, I grab my MUT because I always know where it is, rather than dig around through my house looking for another set of needle nose pliers. There are also wire cutters, which you can see right here. The cutter portion of this is replaceable, so if you manage to wear these things out, you can replace them. You can get a new set from Leatherman. Very easy. There's a simple screw in there that can be removed on each side, and you can replace the cutter blades. In the back portion, back here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's also a wire stripper, so you have that as well. Down here is that cutter I was talking about. This can be used for seat belts, 550 cord, basically anything you might need to cut. This is one part of the MUT that I really have never used. I've not found anything I needed to slide down in there and cut, so I can't comment too much on that. And again, the handle has a portion that's built in to use for a hammer. Obviously, you can't hammer anything too much with that, but light hammering you can accomplish with the this portion of the handle right here. The other function of the handle is to use as a bolt override tool for AR style rifles. If you happen to get a stoppage in your rifle where the bolt is stuck in the forward position and you can't pull it back with the charging handle, you can insert this in through the ejection port against the face of the bolt and pull backwards on it and clear that stoppage. Again, haven't really had to do that with any of my AR rifles, but it is part of the design.